Hello students. So in today's class we're going to discuss about basic codes or commands which are needed while writing the programs in Maxima. First of all, what is meant by Maxima? It's one of the freely available open source software. It is called as fast tool. So there are plenty of fast tools are there which are available, which makes us easy in calculating or finding the solution of algebraic expressions symbolically, graphically and numerically. And also we can differentiate, integrate and many things we can do. So this is one such software, and it was developed by MIT, and later on it is a user-friendly software, and anybody can contribute to develop this. If you want to include your own command and functions, you can write to the Maxima, the one who is managing Maxima, and if they are satisfied, they'll include that function or command in Maxima codes. And you should note that to install this, you have to use this source page, wherein you can download this software, and those who are having Android phone, they can download from Google Play Store, and you can run this application. And when you install it, we use the widget. It's an interface based widget technology powered by Maxima, and it shows WX Maxima. So while searching for the programs, you have to see that whether WX Maxima has been installed or not. So what are the commands that we are going to use? When you write certain commands, suppose if you are writing only one line, then you can see in the left side this symbol %I1. This I indicates input line. So since you are writing only one line, it shows input line 1. If you are written second line, then it shows %I2. That means you are inputting a second line. And after execution, this will come O1, %O1. What is the meaning of this? It indicates it has executed the input line 1 and the output is shown in output line 1. Similarly, if there is line 2, that will be shown in %output 2, O2. So you have to see that in the left hand side, you can see all these symbols, %I, %O. %O indicates output. %I indicates input. Input, the one which you are giving. Output, the one after execution, which will be displayed depending on your priority. Then, see, after writing every program line, you have to use either $ or semicolon. This is the symbol which is used to terminate. So if you want to terminate a program line, you have to use $ or semicolon. So what is the difference between these two? $ is the one which after execution of the program line, results will not be displayed. So after writing the program, if you use a $, it executes the line, but the results will not be displayed. And the semicolon, what it does, after execution of the program line, the results will be displayed. So if you want to display a result, you need to use semicolon. Then, what is killal? Killal kills the all earlier stored values for variables or functions, and after applying this, everything will be wiped out from the RAM, random access memory. That is the function of killall. Before starting any program, you have to use the command killall. So that by knowingly or unknowingly, if you have assigned some value for variables, that will be erased. And that will not trouble your program. Then, so before starting with any program, you have to use the command kill all. After writing kill all, you have to give either dollar or semicolon. Always use dollar after kill all. Then, how to give arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, as you all know, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and power. So, addition will be, if you want to add any two numbers, you have to use plus symbol. If you want to subtract any two numbers, you have to use minus sign. And if you want to multiply any two numbers, you have to use star. And if you want to divide any two numbers, one number from another number, you have to use backslash. And if you want to write any power, say for example x square, then you have to use x cap 2. That indicates x to the power of 2. Or you can use double star also. X double star 2 indicates it is x to the power of 2. So this cap is used to give the power, right? So similarly, if you want to write x to the power, say 5 to the power of x, then you have to use 5 cap x. Then the next command is float of function. Float of function. Why you need to use float? Suppose if you want to obtain the result in decimal places, then you have to use this float operate syntax. So if you use this command float of, so float will give you decimal approximation, without which it will not be the results will not be displayed in decimal approximation. Or if you don't want to use this one, simply in the command you use dot 0. Suppose I want to find sine 30 degree. So sine 30, instead of giving simply sine 30, you give sine of 30.0. So 30.0, so that that will understand that I have to display the result in decimal approximation. So if you want to display the result in decimal approximation, either you have to use float command or dot decimal approximation. We are going to see all the commands first, then later on we'll execute these commands with the examples using maxima. Then this simple bracket, if you are having more executable statements, then you have to use simple bracket to group the terms. Suppose I want to find sine of cos theta, then you have to use sine simple bracket cos simple bracket theta. That's how you have to give. You will understand while writing the examples in maxima, you will come to know that one. Then what is this percentage E? See, there are certain predefined numbers are there. They are built-in numbers or built-in functions. If you want to call their values, then you have to use the symbol percentage. For example, if you want to return the value of E, that is 2.7 something, you have to give percentage E. Percentage E will give you the value of E. And similarly, percentage I, it gives you the value of imaginary number I, that is square root of -1. And percentage pi, this gives you the value of pi. And percentage phi or phi, this gives the value of golden mean phi. And percentage gamma, this gives you the value of gamma. So these are built-in functions, and whenever you use, simply if you give E, it treats E as a variable. Remember here in the maxima, It is case sensitive. If you write a small letter, you have to use small letter only while calling the values. If you use the capital letter, you have to use, you have to call by capital letters only. Remember, this is a case sensitive program, case sensitive software. So you have to be very careful while assigning the variables. Then, what are Boolean constants? There are two Boolean constants are there. That is one true, another one false. If the expression is right, then it displays true. If the expression is false, then it displays false. How to verify or how to check whether the expression is right or wrong? The syntax is, you have to type is, then with the simple bracket, you have to write the expression or equation which you are verifying whether it is right or wrong. So what is the syntax? Is, simple bracket, equation or expression gives you either true or false. If the expression is true, it displays true. If the expression is false, it displays false. Then, how to verify whether there is the expression is constant or not? Suppose I had given some expression or equation. How to check it is a constant or not? We use the command constant predicate. P indicates predicate. Constant predicate, that is constant P of equation. If that equation is constant, then it gives true. If the expression or equation is false, then if it is not constant, then it displays false. Generally, Maxima returns when you use a float command or .0, it displays the decimal places up to 16 digits. But if you want more number of digits, then you have to use floating point precision function, that is FPPREC. This is called as floating point precision function. You have to give the command as float. Suppose I want to display 50 digits. Then floating point precision FPPREC colon 50. This colon is called as assignment operator. Remember, this colon is called as assignment operator. If you want to assign anything to a variable or a particular command, you have to use colon. So FPPREC colon 50 semicolon float of that function or value. That gives you the value of this function or value of this up to 50 decimal digits. So this is how you can increase the significant digits in the decimal place. The next one is B float. See, if you want to display the result in powers of 10, then you have to use B float. So what is this? B float of value will give you some value with B some value like this, B minus 3. The meaning is that number into 10 to the power of minus 3. Usually it gives values in between B0 to B9. So whenever you want to write anything in terms of powers of 10, you can use B float. It gives you floating point value and along with that powers of 10. But remember, 10 is denoted by B. Similarly, you can use E also. E also will give you the power of 10. So you can use B or E, any one of them, to express the value, sometimes you need in powers of 10. So in that case, you can use this. Then how you going to write infinity? Wherever or whenever you want to write infinity, just you write INF. INF indicates infinity. And how to write minus infinity? Simply you have to use the command minf. If you write this, it gives you minus infinity. And whenever you want to check whether the given number is indeterminate or not, so what are indeterminates? The numbers of the form 0 by 0, 0 into infinity, infinity minus infinity, infinity by infinity, 1 to the power of infinity, 0 to the power of 0, infinity to the power of 0. These are all called as indeterminates. That we'll explain in the regular class. So if you want to verify whether the given number is indeterminate or not, you have to use the command indeterminate. And if you want to say this function is, this is undefined, then you have to use the command undefined. And suppose if you want to find Fibonacci sequence of, nth Fibonacci number, you know Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence is 0, 1, add the previous two values, 0 plus 1 gives you 1, so 0, 1, 1, add 1 plus 1 gives you 2, so 0, 1, 1, 2. So if you want to find the next digit, you add previous two numbers, that is 1 and 2, so 1 plus 2 is 3, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, you can go on finding the value. So here, so what is Fibonacci sequence? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Go on, proceed like that. So I want fourth Fibonacci number. What is fourth Fibonacci number? 0, 1, 1, 2. So if you give the command fib of 4, fib of 4, it gives you 2. So that is how you can find the nth Fibonacci number. And suppose if you want to find the value of sine of some number, you have to use command sine with simple bracket angle. Sine of x. Sine of x. So similarly cos. So these are the trigonometric functions. This is how you have to give. You have to give within the simple bracket. Cosecant, see here, cosecant of x, you have to give simply CSC of x, secant SEC of x, cot. And suppose if you want to find the value of inverse trigonometric functions, sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse, secant inverse, cot inverse, then you have to give arc sine of x, arc cos of x, that is a sin of x, a cos of x, a tan of x, a cosecant of x, a secant of x, a cot of x. This is how you have to give command for finding the inverse trigonometric functions. And what about hyperbolic functions? Sin h of x gives you sine hyperbolic function, cos h of x, tan h of x, cosecant h of x, that is CSE h of x, secant h of x, cot h of x. These will give you hyperbolic values of hyperbolic functions. Similarly, inverse hyperbolic functions, sin h inverse, cos h inverse, tan h inverse, cosecant h inverse, secant h inverse, cot h inverse. For that, as usual, you have to use A. A indicates arc, arc sin h of x, arc cos h of x, arc tan h of x, arc cosecant h of x, arc secant h of x, arc cot h of x. So these are the commands which we are going to, basically we are going to use this in our first semester programs, and if anything is left out, I'll tell you at that moment itself. Now we'll write some examples and we'll understand these commands. Okay, now let's understand the commands which we have written by writing some examples. This is the area where we are going to write the programs. After seeing this, you can see a cursor mark here. Put enter. Then, as I told you, before starting with any program, you have to write kill all. Once when you type, this mark will come. It indicates it's an input. So after kill all, after typing kill all, use dollar command, because I want to execute this statement. Remember here, kill all is a built-in function. Already it is defined in the program. So if you type and execute this, then it understands I need to execute that particular built-in command. Then it runs it. I don't want to display this, so simply I'm giving dollar sign. If you give dollar sign, it executes. After writing this, you have to use shift. You have to hold shift and enter. Shift enter indicates or executes this. So it has been executed. Shift enter. I've written this, shift enter. See, I got a mark percentage I1. Remember, in the beginning I told you that percentage I indicates input line. I've inputted one line, therefore percentage I1. You may ask why output is not displaying? Because you have used dollar sign. Dollar indicates execute the program but don't display the result. That's the reason. Now, let's write the same thing. Kill all. I'll use semicolon now. And I want to execute this. So you have to use shift enter together. First press shift, then press enter. See, shift enter. It has executed and displayed done. Done means it has killed all the values assigned to the variables earlier, which are stored in the RAM. Remember, this is indicating percentage I1. That means it is input line 1. And this is percentage O, output O, 0 line. So this is the output of the executed statement 1. This is how you have to write the program. Then after this, if you want to go for next line, you have to press enter. Just enter. If you give enter, it goes for next line. Now let's understand the basic operations, that is arithmetic operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division and power. So I want to write 2 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3. How to write? I don't want to display the answer in decimal point. Simply I want to write 2 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 5. How? This is how you have to write 2 to the power of 5. That is 2 cap 5 divide. See, if there are more than one numbers are there, then you have to use simple bracket. You have to group the terms. But here there is only one number, 2 to the power of 5 in the numerator. So simply I am writing 2 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3 and semicolon. 3 to the power of 3, sorry. And I want to display the result, so I'll use semicolon. Now press shift enter. See, 2 to the power of 5 is 32, 3 to the power of 3 is 27. Sometimes in calculation, we need decimal points. This will be not useful, a rational form. So in that case, you have to use floating point. Remember, there is a difference here. See, percentage I1, output of line 1 is displayed in output of 1. But here, input line 1 is kill all and the output is 0. That means kill all will not be treated as, the result of this will not be displayed, will not be treated in the output. So it gives you simply output 0. kill all. But here input of line 1 is displayed in output of 1. When you write multiple programs, if you want to understand which are those values output displayed for which one, see, input of 1 is displayed in output of 1. Now after this I want a decimal point. So either you can give 2 cap 5.0 divided by 3 cap 3. For one of them it's enough, giving it a dot, and I want to display this, so I'll use semicolon, then shift enter. See, the result has been displayed in decimal form. How many digits are there? See here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, including decimal point, 16 digits. So generally when you use floating point, it displays after including decimal point 16 digits. Or you can give this, see, if you want to type in the next, by the side of this, simply click here, or you can use this command also, float of 2 to the power of 5, that is 2 cap 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3, semicolon. So first it executes this is one line, then executes this second line, because once after giving semicolon or dollar, that line will be terminated. Now you give shift enter. See, 2 to the power of 5 by 3 to the power of 3, either in this way or you can use float command. Both will give you same answer. So instead of using float, simply you can give in any one of them .0. That's it. Then I want to find 750 to the power of, or cube root of 750. How you are going to give cube root of 750? Now press enter to go for next line. Near itself you can type, or you can, if you want to go outside of this, simply click outside. I want to find 750 cube. 750 cube means cube root of 750 is nothing but 750 to the power of 1 by 3. Remember, 750 to the power of 1 by 3. Simply if you give 750 cap 1 divided by 3, see what it gives you. And 750, place it in the group. So it's a group term, open and close. For every open in parenthesis, there should be a close parenthesis. Open, close. Cap, or if you don't want to give this parenthesis for this, you can write simply 750 cap 1 divided by 3. Now see the answers. See, both are different. The first one is showing you 750 cap 1 by 3 is showing you 250. And the second one is showing you 5 into 6 to the power of 1 by 3. Why? Here it has taken 750 to the power of 1 divided by 3. 750 to the power of 1 is 750, divided by 3 means 250. And this is taking 750 to the power of 1 by 3. Actually, we were expecting this answer. That's why when there are more number of terms, you have to use the grouping symbol, that is simple bracket. Don't use any other bracket. Just you have to use simple bracket. I want to display this in decimal point. So you can write 0.0. Now see, it has displayed in the decimal approximation. So this is how you have to write the program. Next, I hope you are very much aware of BODMAS rules. What is BODMAS rules? Says you have to evaluate in the order BODMAS B. First you have to evaluate within the bracket open BO, BODMAS, bracket open, then D. Division should be done after bracket, open bracket is evaluated. Then M. Then you have to evaluate multiplication. If there is multiplication, then A. After multiplication, you have to evaluate if there is any addition. And lastly, you have to evaluate or you have to solve subtraction. If you want to understand BODMAS rule, let me give a command for that or some example. What is 3 into 5 minus 1? What is that? 3 into 5 minus 1. What is the value of this? Okay. It evaluates by any program which is written in the computer, it evaluates based on BODMAS rule. That is, first it searches for bracket open. Is there any bracket? No. Then it goes for division. Is there any division? No. Then it goes for multiplication. Yes, there is a multiplication. So it does multiplication. 3 into 5, 15. It does 3 into 5. Then it searches for next addition. Is there any addition? No. Then lastly it goes for subtraction. So answer is 14. See? If you give bracket like this, if you give bracket, say 3 into 5 minus 1. Now you know that 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 into 3 is 12. So 5 minus 1, because it is bracket open, first it evaluates within the bracket, then it comes outside. So bracket open, first it will be evaluated within the bracket, then it multiplies with this. See, I'll put a semicolon, shift enter. See the difference. So that is how you have to be very careful while writing the program. You should know how to write the terms how to write the expression which involves more number of terms. Always it's better to use brackets. See, I'll give you one more example. Minus 3 cap 2 and minus 3 cap 2. See the difference. See, minus 3 square is 9. That is what the answer which we were expecting. If you give simply minus 3 cap 2, it squares 3. 3 square is 9 and it takes minus sign. That's what. So you have to be very careful. I'll give you one more example. 3 plus 1 divided by 2 and 3 plus 1 divided by 2. See the difference. See, 3 plus 1, because it applies BODMAS rule, it evaluates within the parenthesis. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Now it evaluates according to the BODMAS rule. So is there any bracket open? No. Then D, division. Yes, there is a division. 1 by 2, which is half. That is 0.5. Then no multiplication. Next it goes for addition. 3 plus 0.5, 3.5, which is 7 by 2. If you want to see, you put decimal place. 3.5. So you have to be careful while writing the programs. Now let's see the built-in commands or built-in values. I want to display the value of E, percentage E. If you use the command, it gives the value of E. Oh, but it is not giving you any value of E. Why? Because it should come in the decimal approximation. Percentage E 0.0. Now see. But there is a error. It is not taking 0. So whenever there is a error, see, this is saying .0 is not an infix operator. It is saying that you cannot write like this. You cannot write like this. It is an infix operator. So you cannot fix that. Now see, it is showing it is infix operator. So you cannot write like this also. Then what should I do? You have to use which command? Float. Float of %e. Now see what it gives you. 2.7182818, etc. Since it's an irrational number, it will not terminate. But it is terminating because it's going to display only 16 digit. So this is how you have to write the value of e. If you want to write the value of e, you have to use %e. Then after this, if you want to delete, you can delete them, or you move on for next one. %i. Float of %i. So it gives you I only, right? Next, %pi. Float of %pi. Sorry, 3.14 something. Then float of %phi. If you wish, you can write all of them in one line, but only thing you have to use semicolon. Float of %gamma. See, it displays the built-in values, right? Don't forget, if you want to display results in decimal approximation, you have to use float or dot. Now, let's verify or let's see some results on Boolean constants. As I told you, there are only two constants are there. One is true, another one is false. So, if the expression or equation is right, then it displays true. If the expression or equation is wrong, it displays false. Now, let's see. Is 2 less than 3? You know that 2 is always less than 3. So this equation is true. So answer has to be true. See, it displays true. Is 19 less than 0? Less than 0 means it's a negative number. Is that true? No, it is false. See, it displays false. So this is how you can verify whether the given expression is true or false using Boolean constants. Next, how to verify whether the given expression is constant or not? We use the command constant predicate. Give some expression, say 9 into x. You know that there is a x variable, so this is not constant, so the result has to be false, because 9x means x is a function, so it displays false. Now I'll give you another example. Constant predicate x square minus 4. What it displays? False, because there is a variable x square. Now constant predicate of 3 cap 2. What it displays? Yes, it displays true, because 3 square is constant. So this is how you can verify whether the given expression is constant or not. Then let's see some examples on indeterminate form, trigonometric functions. Before that, let me display infinity. If you give simply INF, see what happens. It gives you infinity. Min f, it gives you minus infinity. So like this you can verify. See whether this is true or not. 2 into 0. So 2 into 0, because there are two numbers, I'll use bracket, divided by 3 minus 3. You know that 2 into 0 is 0, 3 minus 3 is 0. So what it comes? 0 to a negative exponent is undefined. It is not defined. Right? It displays, it is not possible to define this because it's an indeterminate. Now, let's move on to trigonometric functions. So, how you're going to write? I want to find some sine 30. Shift enter. It is not giving sine 30. Sine of, within simple bracket, if you give, it should display. Then you have to use floating point precision for this. You have to use floating values. That is 30.0. If you use this command, it gives you sine 30. Right? What is sine 45? What is sine 90? What is this? Sine 90 is 1, but it is giving you 0.8939 something. Remember, this is in terms of radians. It is saying 90 radians. We have discussed in angles. Sine 90 degree is 1. So you have to use, remember, in terms of radians. We are giving in terms of radian. So if you want to find sine 30 degree, first you convert 30 degree in terms of radians. How? We know that pi is equal to 180 degree. So send that 180 to this side. That becomes pi by 180 equal to 1 degree. So 1 degree is pi by 180. I want 30 degree. So you multiply both sides by 30. 30 into 1 degree is 30 degree equal to 30 into pi by 180. 36 180. So sine percentage pi by 6 give you sine 30 degree value 1 by 2. Got it? Sine percentage pi sine 90 degree gives you, sine pi by 2 90 degree gives you 1. Remember, everything is in terms of radians. So you have to be very careful while using degrees. Then similarly you can write cos of 1. See, tan of say 2.0. Then tan cosecant of 3.0. Then secant of 4.0. Then cot of 5.0 or 6.0. Okay, anything will be fine. This gives you the values. Okay, so this is how you can verify the trigonometric function. If you want to type or if you want to use inverse trigonometric function, you have to use arc sine of 1. Then arc cos of 1. Right? Because you know that cos pi is cos 90, cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 is 1. So cos inverse of 1 is 0. This is how you can verify the values for trigonometric functions. Suppose if they ask you what is the difference between float and B float, you know that generally maxima gives the display or output including decimal point, after decimal point 16 digits, but B float will give you value which is in the decimal approximation ending with B. Here at the end it gives the values from B0 to B9. You should note that B is nothing but powers of 10. Let's see an example to understand what it is. As usual, we start with kilol. so that all the earlier temporarily stored values will be deleted. Now I want to find the floating point value of square root of 0.001, right? So I'll give float of square root. So we don't have any command straight away, square root. So what I'll do is I'll put one more bracket, 0.001. First I'll type and I'll come outside this. You should note that square root of 0.001 is same as 0.0001 to the power of half. So I'll give cap. You know that you have to use cap or double star to write any power of. I'll take a bracket because I want to write half. So half. So I've written like this. So this is float of this. Then I'll execute this. Similarly here itself I'll write b float of. I'll copy down the same thing, right? Just I'll click this, I'll copy down this, so I'll paste within the bracket. Now see what is the difference. See, square root of 0.0001 is 0.01, but if you shift the digits, see, if you shift this digit, if you want to shift this digit, then you have to multiply this by 10 to the power of minus 1. So I'll write this one, then this one. Is that right? So that gives you, what I'm writing is, I want to shift the digit. If you want to shift the digit, then you will divide this by 10. And if you want to shift one more, then you will write this 1 divided by 100. That is 10 to the power of minus 2. So 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So instead of 10, it is showing b because we have used b float. So input line 1 is this, output of that line 1 is this, input line 2 is this, output line 2 of this. So this is how you can find the, if you want to write result which is a compact one, using b float you can write like this. Let me give one more example. Right, as usual I'll write kill all, then float of say percentage pi, we know pi, then b float of percentage pi, and let's see what it gives. See, 3.14 something. Here also 3.1 because already it is in the very nice expression form, that is 3 point something. So you don't have to shift the digits to make a number before decimal point. So that's why it is giving b0. b0 means into 10 to the power of 0. 10 to the power of 0 is 1. 1 into this is same. So this is the difference between float and b float. Now let's see, you know that instead of b we can use e also. Remember there is a difference between e and percentage e. Percentage e is a built-in function which says the value of percentage e is 2.7 something. But if you give simply e, it assumes that it is power of 10. I'll show you an example. As usual, I'll write kill all. Then I'll write the values 5.7 e minus 2. That means it is 5.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Or in general, it is 5.7 divided by 10 to the power of 2. 10 to the power of 2 is 100. That is 5.7 divided by 100. Or in general, you can write that one as, if you want to shift the digits, then you can write that one as 0.057. See, I'll give you. See, 0.057. So here E indicates it is 10 to the power of minus 2. If you send 10 to the power of minus 2 to denominator, this becomes 5.7 divided by 10 square. 10 square is 100. So 5.7 divided by 100. I want to shift the digits. So if you want to delete 1 0, then you have to shift this decimal place before 5 once. Again, I want to shift another 0, then you have to put 1 0 and decimal point. So 0.057. This is how you make use of E. Either you can use E or B, doesn't matter. I'll give you some more examples. 0.57 E to the power of minus 2. Already it is in the decimal form. Now 5.7 E minus 4. Remember, there is no space here. And sorry, I have to use semicolon because I want to display. I should not use comma. And semicolon. 5.7 E plus 2. I'll give plus 2. Then 0.57. Let's see B also. B minus 2. And let me give some 5.7 B minus 4 and see what it gives. See, for 5.7 E to the power of minus 2, it is 0.057. For this one, see, 0.57 into 10 to the power of minus 2. That means 0.7 divided by 10 square. Is that right? 10 square. 10 square is 100. If you want to shift the digit, you have to shift before decimal point with 2 zeros. So 0.0057. That's what the answer. And this is 5.7. It's in the good form already. Into 10 to the power of minus 4. 5.7 into 10 square. 100. 100 into 5.7 is 570. Right? And see this one. 5.7 into 0.57 into B minus 2. It is 5.7. It has shifted one decimal point. If you want to shift, then you have to take 1 10 to the power of minus 1. That is B minus 3. And 5.7 B minus 4, it's already in the good form. So it displays the same. So this is how you can make use of E and B. Is that right? Okay. Now, we'll see some examples. For finding the values, say up to some 30 digits, decimal approximation up to some 30 digits. We know that we have to use floating point precision function, right? Floating point FPPREC, floating point precision. You have to use this command, right? Whenever you use FPPREC, right, it gives you decimal place. So how many digits you want? Say I want some 30 digits, isn't it? Okay, let's give some 30 digits. Fine. Then what do you want? I want to display the floating values. Okay, so what are the values that you want to find? Let's say some sine of 2. Sine of 2. Simply if you give this, it will not give. So I've used float. So it displays that. Let's see what it gives. See? Floating point precision function for 30 digits. See? After decimal place, it is 30 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You can. It has ended up here because it is approximating that much. Right? Let me give one more example. Say floating point FPPREC of 50 digits for say floating point of percentage pi. right? It has given. Is that true? Is that true? After decimal place, how many it is giving you? 1, 2, including decimal place, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 only. It is normal floating point precision. It is not extending it. So where is the problem? Where is the problem? You should give the answer, isn't it? Am I right? You should give the answer. Then it is not giving floating point precision up to 50 digits. Okay, let's see what this gives. Aha, it has given 50 digits now. Simply if you give float, it will not give. Right? See, I'll change this one to B float. Fine. So it has given up to 30 digits. It has given up to 50 digits. So if you want to use floating point precision, you should remember that you have to give B float. Floating point precision with B float gives you the actual answer. This is how you have to, it all depends on how many digits you are expecting. Okay, let's go for next problem. The next problem is, suppose A takes some value 4. So A colon 4. Remember, colon indicates assign. So here afterwards, whenever you call A will be of value 4. So I don't want to display this. If you want to display, you put colon, semicolon. Otherwise, you can give dollar. Then I'll assign B with value, say 3. I want to display this. Okay. So I had given value for this. See here, A is taken the value 4, B is taken the value 3. Whenever you see in any program, in this program, whenever you call A will give you value 4. A is already stored with 4. B is stored with 3. If you use kill all once again, then A will be deleted and B will be deleted with these values. Alright? Now, I want to find what is A plus B. So I'll not use kill all, because if you use kill all, temporarily stored values will be deleted. A plus B, and I want to find what is A minus B, and I want to find what is A into B, and I want to find A to the power of B, and I want B to the power of A. Sorry. B to the power of A. Let's see. Improper argument 81. Let's see what it is. First, the answer for the first one is 7. Yes, A plus B, 4 plus 3 is 7. A minus B, 4 minus 3 is 1. And A into B, 4 into 3 is 12. For the next one, improper argument, A to the power of B, it is not displaying. Why? 4 to the power of 3 is what? 64. It has to come 64. It is not displaying. Why it is not displaying? Let's see. Yeah, improper argument. We made a mistake here. We have to use semicolon, not comma. Now see here. Yes. A to the power of B, 64. B to the power of A, that is 3 to the power of 4. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. And let's find out A divided by B, and also B divided by A. A divided by B, 4 by 3. B divided by A, 3 by 4. So this is how you can use temporary variables to calculate the or to solve the expressions. If I use kill all and if I call A plus B, see, it will not give you the value because the temporarily stored values are deleted. Once when you use kill all command, it deletes all the temporarily stored values. So A, B is unknown now. Now once again you have to assign the value for A and B and you have to calculate. Then it works. So this is how you can do the arithmetic operations. Okay. Now after that I want to find the value of 425 to the power of 1 by 5. Remember 1 by 5 consists of numerator and denominator. So you have to be very careful while giving such number. Use always bracket 1 divided by 5. Alright? Otherwise it takes, see, if you don't give this bracket, it takes 425 to the power of 1 divided by 5. That problem is there. That's why you have to give bracket. And also I want to find the decimal approximation of this. You know that if you want to find the decimal approximation, you can simply give 425 of 0 to the power of 1 by 5 or you can give 425 to the power of 1 by 5.0, or you can also use float of 425 to the power of 1 by 5. All will give you same values. Oh sorry, yeah, see here. Here I had given 425 to the power of 1 by 5. So simply it is displaying that. But since I had given decimal, I want the result in decimal approximation, it has calculated this. See, I had given 425.0 or 425 to the power of 1 by 5.0. Anywhere you can write 0.0. Then it assumes that it has to display the answer in floating point. And you can use float also, right? That also gives you the same value. This is how you can find the decimal approximation. Let's work out some more example. Right? I want to find the value of say 3 to the power of 5. Okay, let's find 3 to the power of 5 divided by 5 to the power of 3. See, it gives simply 3 to the power of 5, 243 by 125. But I want this in decimal approximation. So what I have to do? Yes, in any one of them, you give 0. Otherwise, you can use float also. If you use float command, then also it gives you same answer. Float of this. To give within the bracket, don't forget, and semicolon should be outside. This is how you can find the decimal approximations. Next, I want to find 6th, 8th and 15th Fibonacci number. Yeah, in the previous class I told you how to find the Fibonacci numbers. Yes, you have to give fib of, if you want 6th number, fib of 6. If you want 8th one, fib of 8. In one line itself you can give all of them. Only thing you have to separate by semicolon or dollar. Otherwise you can write in the next line by enter, by giving enter. If you simply give enter, it goes for next line. Fib of 15. What is Fibonacci? Is the number of 6th Fibonacci number. First one is 0, second one is 1, third one is 0 plus 1 is 1, fourth one is 1 plus 1, 2, fifth one is 1 plus 2, 3, sixth one is 2 plus 3, 5. Like that it goes on. Now you give shift enter. See, this is how you can calculate the Fibonacci number. using this command. Next, I want to express 0.007 and 3581 in powers of 10. So how you are going to express 0.001 and 3581 in powers of 10? Yeah, powers of 10. Yes. How you are going to express it? Either you can use B float. Yes. B float of 0.0001. Right? Powers of 10. Otherwise, you can give simply what you can give. Yeah. Suppose if you want to reduce these many zeros. Alright? Yeah. I can write this one as 1 E minus how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. After this means 5. See? 1.0. 10 to the power of minus 5. This is how you can express. Right? Similarly, you can express B float of 3581 and see what you will get. See, 3.581 into 10 to the power of 3. So you can use either B float or simply this. So this is how you can express in terms of powers of 10. Next, we want to find the value of sine of 2. Sine of 2. Remember, if you give simply 2, it displays as it is. So I want to find in decimal approximation. And cos of 3. Tan of 4. Cosecant of 2. How you are going to give it? CSC of 2. And secant of 3. And cot of 4. This gives you values of these trigonometric functions. Similarly, you can find the values of inverse trigonometric function. How you are going to find sine inverse of 2? Yes, you have to give A sine. Cos inverse, A cos. Tan inverse, A tan. Cosecant inverse, A CSC. Secant inverse, A secant. Cot inverse, A cot. Let's find out. I'll add A in the beginning. That means it is arc cos, arc sine, arc tan. Arc tan, arc cosec, arc secant, and arc cot. This gives you the values of inverse trigonometric function. Okay. Next, I want to find the values of E, pi, gamma, phi up to 15 decimal places. Yes. Normally, what it gives, floating point of E, percentage E. You should not give simply E. Right? Then B float of percentage pi and float of percentage phi, then float of percentage gamma. See what it gives? It gives only after decimal point 16 digits, but we want up to 50 digits. So you have to use FPPREC up to 15 digits. Then you have to use, yes, not float. You have to use B float. Which one you have to use? B float. So let me use B float. If you give simply float, you will get the same digits, B float, right? Now let me copy down this, then I have to write for pi, then I have to write for phi, then I have to write for gamma. See, up to 15 digits it has displayed this. So this is the advantage of floating point precision function. Like this, you can, while writing the program, depending on your requirement, you can use these commands. We'll continue in the next class with the next program. Thank you.